Hello there. I'm Philip,
I'm Liz.
and we're gonna have a conversation about men, women, relationships, the relationship between the genders, which is a huge topic, of course. There's so much happening in popular culture around this. We just watched a short film on YouTube that's called From Women to Men. And I was very impacted by it. I cried a couple of times. I wonder how it was for you to see it.
Yeah, it really put a lot of what I've been thinking into clear words for me. Yeah, I think what I'm wanting is to bring more of what is not talked about into the light. Because in the relationship between women and men, and especially now with these movements, like empowering women, we've been seeing what is good about it, like the positive side of it.
Mm-hmm.
But I also want to talk about the taboo topics or themes about this, like the things that are in the shadow, about our relationships. And just like an exploration to bring those parts into light, especially with these movements with feminists and me being a woman. Like, what I want is my dark side to also be recognized and seen,
Right.
so I can integrate that and love myself more fully.
Right. Yeah, because when I hear you say that, I just hearing you say that, like you want to know your shadow or your dark side and integrate it.
I want to see how, I think it's very important that the woman's pain is seen. But I also want to see how I'm hurting men. Like, I also want men's pain to be seen.
Yeah, what I was saying is, when I just hearing you say that, for me as a man, it's like something in me relaxes and something in me opens to being more willing to own the shadows in me, to own the shadow of masculinity, for example. Because I think there's been a lot, like in popular culture the last few years, of basically pointing fingers at men and saying, talking about toxic masculinity and saying, you men need to change and you need to respect women and you need to, and a lot of that is true. But the way that it's being done, mostly it's in a way of blaming, and even going as far as saying masculinity is bad or it's wrong or it's dangerous. It's when I hear that as a man, I just go whoa, just kind of wait a second, or even I want to just push that away. So when I hear you saying I want to explore what's the shadow for me as a woman, it's I'm suddenly more willing to I'm curious about that, and I'm also more willing to go into that for myself as a man.
Yeah, right. For me, this is crucial actually, because I think what I have learned throughout my journey as a woman and as a human being is that everything that I want to receive, I first need to give. And so, for example, if I'm wanting you, my husband, a man, to see me, I need to be willing to see you as well. If I want compassion for my pain, I need to also give compassion to your pain. So for me, it's about I only can love you if I love myself fully first. And I can't love myself fully if I don't see what's hidden for me. Like all the things in me that I label or are labeled outside in society as negative, like my violence, my aggression, the way I manipulate you to get what I want, like the lack of clarity of what my needs are, like my projections. If I don't see that, if I don't bring that into the light for me first to see and then to show it to you, I won't be able to integrate that into my experience and then love myself fully to then love you.
Yeah.
So that's the conversation I want to have. Like I think it's amazing that these movements are happening. But the danger I see is that these parts are not being seen into the light. So these movements are bound to fail in the end. And I don't want them to fail.
Right.
I want women to be seen in their pain, fully seen in their pain, and men to take full responsibility. But I also want us to do the same. Like you men, I want you men to also be seen in your pain, and I want us women to take full responsibility of how are we playing this game as well.
Yeah. I think it's a far more complex healing that needs to take place than simply saying, we need to end the patriarchy and men need to, be respectful to women. It's like, it's true that I know for me, like with Me Too, there's been it's been quite painful, and it has had me like look at myself more clearly and look at the ways that I have, been disrespectful to women and been dishonest with women, and to really see that that's not cool, that's not okay. But then I've also experienced the other side of suddenly feeling like something's out of balance, in a sense, when we're just speaking from one side. Like there's like we're just saying that all the ways that men are bad or are wrong, and women are in this position of being the victims. I think there's a lot that we're missing there.
Yeah, exactly. Because I think that if we keep doing that, just like blaming the other side and shaming the other side, then like we're gonna always be defensive against each other, and then a real conversation is never gonna happen. And the world that I imagine we're all wanting to see is never gonna happen, because I think we're at the first stage. Like, okay, let's see each other, like really see each other. Like, I need to see myself first. Like, you men need to see yourselves. Like, what is going on with all this abuse? It's not cool. And then women, like, hey, also women, see, like, what are you also doing in this? What's your responsibility? And then from there, like, just be willing to really see the other side, and then a conversation can start to happen. And we really don't know what's going to happen once we have that conversation. But right now, I don't see a conversation happening. I just see like defensiveness from each side. And I certainly don't want that, because I have a son. And I want my son to grow up to be able to fully be himself, and also to be able to respect women. But for that, I want him to feel respected as well.
Right. Yeah, and I think there's an irony there where what I've been discovering in myself is that I think the mature expression of masculinity is actually the place from where you can fully respect yourself and respect women. It's this kind of deep, strength and a place of like relaxed power in yourself, from where you can actually honor the other. But when we talk about like men, masculinity, patriarchy being a bad thing, it's very easy to feel like, I know for me as a man, it was like, oh, wait a second, so does that mean that masculinity is bad and that I'm supposed to be more feminine and more like a woman? And I think it's the opposite in a way. It's like what men most need is to like find this place of true strength in us.
Yeah, and that's what we women want. Like I imagine, like that's what I want for sure. Like I want my partner to be strong, but if I do little movements that like castrate that strength, I won't get it. I won't get it. So in a way, for me, how the process is like, what I've seen is the more I allow myself to feel your pain as a man, and then of course I always feel very uncomfortable when I see you in pain, especially if I cause that pain. But like the more I really allow myself to feel that pain, like in me, and be with that, then the more I can open to have a real relationship with you and show you my pain as well. So yeah, for me, that like I imagine the secret is right there. Like like be willing to see and feel the other pain, and right, these things, like you as a man really feel what has been not cool
About my behavior.
About your behavior. Yeah. And then me as a woman also see that. Like if I blame you and I tell you like you're wrong, I shame you, that's never gonna happen. And then we'll be perpetually in war. Yeah. And the thing is that we need each other. We complement. We're not the same, men and women. We're not the same. We like our bodies, our energy, the way our brains work. Like, I'm not saying we're not equal in capacities, but like we complement each other, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, like that's gonna remain incomplete in me if I don't find my way to you, like to receive you.
That's beautiful. Thank you. All right, we'll continue this conversation. Thanks.